Welcome, guys, to Chilltime with Jose. This is going to be a long time since I did the last time with Chilltime with Jose, okay? Where I basically just pretty much like read results, the news, and stuff like that as well. And basically, we've got everything up here as well. We're going to have a very, very interesting special edition today because this is going to be a Rostermania because, as you guys may have noticed in the last 2 to 3 weeks, everything went absolutely crazy. You know, with Shocks getting cut from Vitality and, well, a lot of crazy moves, okay? A lot of crazy moves that, you know, obviously, apparently a swap in the making of Astralis going to Vitality and stuff like that. All of that, you know, hasn't been finalized yet, but we're going to go through the stuff that has been finalized, okay? The stuff that has happened recently with the team switching out people here and there and stuff like that. And, well, it's crazy as hell. Like, it's absolutely craziness on what has gone on basically. And yeah, you know, it's gone, we couldn't believe it, really couldn't believe of how it's ended up. And yeah, you know, what we've got here. And yeah, let's just get into it. Now, obviously, with one of the articles, which is going to be talking about Astralis, they don't have the things ready to go, basically. We don't have the newspaper article, which is interesting, because it was all the hype, but let's just get into it. So let's talk about let's just loosen up our palette with some teams. And we got Mad Lions, Bench, Warrior, and Sorcel. I was actually a bit surprised, actually, that they've added Borub. But, like, I gotta say, with Warrior, very, very interesting that he's on the bench here. I think Warrior might be getting transferred to potentially a better team or a team up there. Sorcel, not totally too surprised. Like, Warrior can be picked up by any team. Borub played very, very well for them as well. I'm not surprised that Sorcel may have seen it being stood down because Borub was much, much cleaner, much, much better. Warrior must be getting attracted by different other orgs. Also, gotta say, King Dems from HLTV reporting on this. Now, he also says that as well. He also says that Warrior will definitely be picked up by another team. And it's going to be, you know, hard for Warrior here. Because, like, what teams are going to be picked up by? Because a lot of teams already picked up their AWPers, as we realized late in the video as well, where a lot of teams have, you know, gone for AWPers, such as the Na'Vi Academy as well, with Monesy and stuff like that. And also MHL, Torsey, and a lot of like that as well. So I'm not sure which team is going to pick up Warrior in the end if they're looking for an AWPer, because Warrior, he seeks, you know, CSGO over in Europe instead, as you guys can see, he's from the Ukraine. Given the fact that CS region is just filled with talent. Now, overall, I say, like, with Mad Lions, Sorcel, probably a good idea to bench him. Warrior, I'm going to say, if they've actually benching Warrior based on performance, it's a very, very bad idea for Mad Lions. If they're benching for him because he's being transferred off, it's a different story. But if he's being benched for not performing, I think that's a bad idea, given the fact, as you can see there, for Warrior, 1.14 ratings in AWPer, and, you know, the Sorcerer as well. Sorcerer hasn't been playing too well either. And also, not to mention as well, Warrior had been playing better than Borub, so it would make absolutely no sense to bench Warrior, because Warrior is arguably a better player. So I think Warrior is being transferred elsewhere, and we're going to hear some news about it soon. Mad Lions, like, it's a bit of a reach to what riflers they can pick at. I mean, you got Thomas as well. You got a lot of talent riflers on the bench, but whether those players will want to go to Mad Lions who realistically have no tournament prospects is a different kind of story. And not to mention, at one point, you know, they had Refresh, Sush, Acorn, and that stuff as well. But now, you know, this team, I gotta say right now, this team's just stuck in advanced in the moment, and I don't see them moving out of it anytime soon. They got pretty close to moving out of it, and I'm not sure what players they're really going to pick up. They got TMB, Borub, and JL. They're trying to build a roster around TMB. There's a few players that are on the free agents list that they could realistically put in here, but I don't think they can really reach for those tier 1 talents because they're not bringing in tier 1 CSGO anytime soon. I mean, they're not in ESL Pro League. They're not even close, to be honest. They're in ESA Premier or ESL Challenger, as it's called now. And I honestly don't see them getting, like, you know, top tier riflers. Maybe they get some riflers that have been fairly decent and advanced and ESL challenges. Maybe get Robin from Finest, as Robin has left, and no, Robin hasn't left, but could be leaving, as Lollipop had filled in for Finest. But there's a lot of ESA Premier riflers that have left, have gone out, and may join a team that's, you know, really top and advanced and bring them up to the next level. I mean, there's a lot of free agencies out there, but we have to wait and see on this one with Mad Lions. But Warrior must be getting sent somewhere else. I can't imagine him not being sent to someone else. because like Warrior arguably, as you say, he's the best player by far. Best player by a long while. Next up we go with Furia. So Furia, basically get the Safi from Pain. Safi was one of the better players in their major run, so no surprise that Safi's been picked up. And basically Vinny is essentially, I think he's leaving. Vinny hasn't been performing too well at all, and they just pick up Safi to replace Vinny. Probably a good change. Safi was absolutely making waves with Pain. This could probably go hurt Pain slightly, but given that Pain is somehow recruited team out of nowhere and just done the hard yards, stuff like that, I don't think it'd be too hard for them to just find a replacement for her as well. There's also a lot of free agents in Brazil that are, basically can be picked up to rejuvenate and maybe add some experience to Pain as well. I'm going to say right now, if they pick up like Cold Zera, Fall, or anything like that, it's going to be a really, really bad idea. 0-0 Nation, there's going to be a few players that are going to be leaving there. Maybe you can pick one of those players up from Pain as well. But as long as they don't pick up Fallen, Phelps, or anything like that, because they're trying to make this Brazilian last dance as well, as long as they don't pick up any players in there, they should be relatively fine. Because I feel like if, let's just say, for example, Pain pick up, like, say, Fallen, stuff like that, it's only gonna stunt their momentum. I feel like Pain have the potential, and they just probably need, like, they don't need a veteran over the hill to kind of lead them at this point. They just need another rifler that is in their peak at the moment as well. And also, it's going to be really hard in the Brazilian seed, because the Brazilian seed's always naturally ridiculously high in buyouts. So you're basically waiting for the contract to end of other players before bringing them in, which may lead to, like, some other players getting the chance. And kind of a good thing and kind of a bad thing about the esports scene in Brazil is that the buyouts are ridiculously high, therefore you can't actually buy anyone out. And then sometimes it's a good thing because you can keep players a lot easier. And sometimes it's a really, really good thing as well, because you know that at expiry contract that you got to pick them up, and also you don't lose players. That's why the good thing, the buyout's really high. And you don't have that speculation whether someone has been bought out. Now, overall, this has been wrote by Notes, of course, which is a very, very good journalist. And, basically, Fury is struggling. Safi will be the prime candidate. And, basically Junior leaving the team as well. Safi is definitely quality AWPer. As you guys can see here, they picked up Tactus from Triumph, and as you can see, drop Safi, Yuri, Quesarado, and Art. And, looking at it there, I mean, it's going to be a fairly solid team. Get a solid AWPer, Brazilian AWPer as well, and he's been performing very, very well in Pain. At 1.24 ADR. To be fair, he's versing ESL Challenger opponents, which is not ESL Pro League, stuff like that. But it's still fairly decent to have that confidence when going into the team. Next up, we got Evil Geniuses, and basically EG were targeting Valdi previously, and it didn't go well. So basically, they're trying to target Valde from, I believe it's from OG, but as you guys may see shortly, that's not the story yet, that he could be going elsewhere. So Valde had been linked to the move, and when completely was talking about a potential transfer. But those talks are stalled. Now, EG are looking towards Rush. And basically with Evil Geniuses, it's going to look like potentially Stewie 2K and Automatic, given that Stewie, basically that's the rumors pretty much. And I think this article is by Lucas. And they have a rumor that EG are getting Automatic, Stewie, and Rush. And that would link up, the Cloud9 roster that won the Major, famously enough, in Boston. Remember that phase with 15-11 up on the third map? And they choked it away. Just remember that. Don't get distracted too much from it. Now, it would give him a redemption for Rush. Rush has been a very up and down player, I'm going to say. Like, he's very, very up and down player, given that, Cloud9 was amazing. Then he went down. Then he went to Complexity where he was amazing. Then he went down. Could be another thing as well where he's amazing for a short moment, but just can't get that consistency up as well. And also as well, Tarek has left the roster. Now, if the rumors are true, it'll be Automatic, Stewie, 2K, Rush, Cirque, and Breezy, and Malik as the coach, and that would be a pretty decent team. Like, that would be a pretty good team as well on paper. You got your Opera and Cirque. Cirque is very, very imposing as well. You got Breezy, you got Automatic, you got Stewie, 2K, and Rush, all still fragging out as riflers. And it could be one of those teams where, like, hey, this would have been a good team 2 years ago potentially as well. That could be the alternative view as well. But I feel like this is a fairly solid roster that, EG can realistically build from as per se. Now, EG, I've got to say, EG have been struggling big time. Like, I'm actually surprised that EG are giving a crack at it, given the fact that the, recent tournaments that they were really bad. Let's be honest. They were, like, incredibly bad. And I thought it was like, science are just going to pull out the scenes instead. But I feel like it was the players, given like, Ethan, for example, was playing Valorant while he's being paid to play CSGO, which is not really the greatest thing you want to see from a professional player. And maybe that, really doused the morale of the team, where basically one player is not really in it and stuff like that. So they'd rather reset the core and bring out people who are in it, essentially. Now, next up is going to be the reason why Val there had a bit of a stall was basically AlexB and Nexa has been swapped. So AlexB is going to go to G2 and Nexa is going to go to OG. So basically they're looking for an IGL and AlexB is the said IGL. And it actually leads to another change that G2 are putting in as well, with actually getting an AWPer as well. So they're going for the IGL route. That allows Nico to be Nico, essentially, to basically be that star player. We all know Nico's a star player in G2. But also Nexa going to OG as well will be actually a beneficial move for OG, because they do have the leadership already. They just need the riflers and the star power. So either way, they could, they win out of that as well. Now, basically, as it says here, he'll join Mosey, which we actually talk about right afterwards, which could be here. So with AlexB, talking about this change here, this will be actually a very, very good change for AlexB. This article is written by Professor. Will be actually a good change, like I said, for G2, getting an IGL, experienced IGL who's led teams, to almost that major bracket, with Ents and stuff like that. How AlexB hasn't really been experiencing much success with OG. I mean, getting knocked out by Renegades. And I think it was either Katowice, I'm not sure. But getting knocked out by Renegades, probably not the star achievement. And OG haven't really been getting out of this, 15 to 20 rut where they're stuck in at the moment. And it could be said, like, with OG, if you look at their roster, pretty much, Nico, Mantu, Flames, Valde, and AlexB, obviously him leaving and putting Nexa instead. Nico could IGL, because Nico did IGL for a bit. And also, Flames as well. Flames definitely a good rifle in OG as well, but hasn't, he was very, very good for endpoint, but hasn't been able to translate that into tier 1. Now, G2, as you guys will see here, so with Nexa going, and I think it's Amanek, and I think it's either Amanek or Jaxa going as well, through with Mosey being added in. This will really, really boost up the roster as well. And also, finally, gets Nico off the AWP. Okay, finally gets him off the AWP. And also, I gotta say right now, the little experiment G2 of no main AWPer has come to a close, and they finally get their man. Now, so they kind of expecting us, G2 expecting the XQ's X, I don't know how to pronounce his name. Okay, someone will probably find out one day. It's gonna be the coach as well, because the coach has left G2 as well. So that's what they expect the coach to be. I gotta say right now, we'll get to this article later. With Nexa leaving G2, I don't think that'll be a bigger issue, because like basically G2 can pick up any rifler, because G2 is going to be in that tier 1 kind of thing, so it doesn't really matter. They can realistically, they've got the pick of the bunch for the riflers, so they can literally pick anyone. So Nexa being traded for IGL is actually really, really good for G2. And also as well, G2 can demand that IGL as well, because AlexB will want to get back into that tier 1 scene as well. Now, looking at the team overall, I think it was Amanek that hit the thing. Yeah, Amanek was the one that hit the thing. So you can see here, Mosey, which we'll talk about later. So Mosey, Nico, Hunter, Jax, and AlexB, probably a good lineup with XQC as coach. And then with OG, it'll be Nico, Nexa, Flames, Mantu, Valda. And I gotta say, that's what they needed. They needed probably another rifler in there, like a star rifler as well. They didn't really need an IGL, because both, I think, Valda and Nico have IGL experience. They can easily step up to it. It's just both teams realizing they have a surplus in one area, and they can transfer it to the other area without either team suffering. So I feel like it's a good trade for both teams. It is also said as well that Valde could be leaving, but those talks have fallen apart apparently with EG. But, there could be a hint that someone else could be looking at Valde as well, but we're not terribly too sure at the moment on who that could be. Now, overall, with OG and G2, I think OG, they got a bit of an upgrade there with the rifler and Nexa. G2 got a massive upgrade in the IGL department as well. As long as AlexB can, basically temper Nico, it'll be, and also, manage Mosey into the roster as well. He's been a star AWPer for Na'Vi Jr. This team is looking a bit, this is a team that's just basically looking for a major win and to really challenge Na'Vi. Now, I'm going to say in the transfer market, Na'Vi will change nobody. They have a perfect team at the moment, and they can only get better from now on with, addition of Bit, much needed, just young star rifler who's just, basically the reliance from Electronic and Simple is just significantly lowered, especially since he can perform in his own part as well. So yeah, actually 2 seconds before we go, because HLTV, man, that's all I'm going to say. They're interesting people, HLTV, okay? Interesting people. I didn't even realize that I didn't have sport on. Because I gotta say right now, like, HLTV forums are barely moderated. And you get some racist shit that comes through and you get TOS, so just refreshing everything now. You guys don't see it, but it's refreshing everything now. So G2 unveiled Moonsey. So as you guys saw there, Moonsey's been unveiled. G2, like, basically they were going to buy up Moonsey regardless. They didn't care about the money. They know the potential in this kid is already 16 years of age, and he's just absolutely dominating where he play tournaments at the moment in the Academy League. Striker to report here. This was a no-brainer from G2. They needed AWPA. They've got everything on the board. They've got all the leverage, okay? Like, all the leverage that you can possibly get in an org, okay? All the leverage. They can be like, hey, we want to pick this guy up. We want to buy him. He's going to say yes, dude. Tier 1's where he wants to go. And that's pretty much it. Na'Vi, you know, probably licking their lips, probably trying to drag a bit more money out because they know G2 wants this AWPA really badly. But, like, they've got their man. Also, as well, basically, G2 has interest in Rops. Also, Alex B as well. They've got Alex B from the trade. They didn't get Rops, as you'll see later. And Rops has been, you know, basically been a tug of war. Getting a great rifler will definitely replace Jax if they got Rops in the end. But as you guys will see, they won't get Rops. And I'm going to say G2, I'm going to say this is their time. Like, basically, if they can get more star power around Nico, Nico's in a kind of a similar situation to Simple, where the team around him isn't that great, other than himself. And, you know, Hunter and stuff like that as well. Like, their team around him isn't that great. And they just need more parts to it. And then let them merge together for a few months and see what they can do. And definitely, you know, Alex B, Monesy, then potentially Rops as well, would have definitely been the pieces to the puzzle there. And I feel like this is a good move from G2. I mean, you need AWPA. One AWPA's peaking up. Young AWPA as well. Put him in. You might as well just put it in. Like, you know, if you're building a team for the long term, which they are, and also how close they got as well. Like, I gotta say, with Nico, Hunter as well. Like, Hunter, I think is either Jax or Hunter's the oldest, I believe. I think it's Jax. I know Jax is probably on the arse end of his career. He'd probably be replaced potentially if he does not perform. But yeah, you know, basically, they grabbed Monesy in the end. Good pickup. I think if they did get Rops to replace Jax immediately, and that will be pretty much end of the French team. Basically, it'll be a European team in the end. But either way, I gotta say overall, good pickup. Like, they needed an AWPA. I mean, the entire major, you could just see their biggest weakness was the lack of the AWPA, and that's why Simple dominated so much, because like there was no AWPA against Simple, and Simple could just do what he pleases, and Simple just dominates half the time. And even if they didn't, you know, need the AWPA, Simple can rifle just as well, and that's the scary part. But Simple just chose the AWP in all situations, and he just absolutely decimated. He was definitely the difference maker in that series between G2 and Na'Vi. Next up, we got Astralis confirming the departure. And yeah, basically, Astralis confirmed that Dupree, Magix, and Zonic are all leaving, and they are all leaving to Na'Vi. They're all leaving to Na'Vi. Yeah, you know, they're all banding to Na'Vi now. They're leaving to Vitality, and they assigned Arve, Config, and Blame F. So Blame F from, I believe these two are from Complexity. And I gotta say, you know, probably a good sign up in the end. Zonic is probably going to be their biggest loss. I know Dupree and Magix can be quite clutch. I think Zipnix is the clutch master. Magix and Dupree can, you know, they're top tier riflers. They can be replaced, obviously. You know, Blame F and Config would be pretty decent replacements for them as well. Like, it would be not like for like, but, you know, they can build them up to be like for like. Zonic is going to be a big miss. Like, Zonic is going to be a big miss given how animated he is and how he motivates and basically gets more out of his teams. And I think that's going to be probably the biggest missing from Astralis there, which is very, very unfortunate. Also, as well, Device wants to be moved back to Astralis as well, according to Nip as well. And yeah, basically, there have been some bad blood between the organization and Zonic. And, you know, as you guys knew, there's a lot of temporary leave. And I'm going to say right now, guys, I feel there was like some tensions with the contracts and stuff like that Astralis and the players were at odds. Now, I'm going to say this with Astralis as well. The Astralis have picked up 2 players, being Config and Blame F. Why the hell are you not playing Bubsy or Bubsky? Honestly. Why? Like, I don't know. You got one of the best Danish players on your bench. Why are you going after Config or Blame? Like, You either pick either one of Config or Blame. If you don't pick both, just get Bubsky back on your roster. Like, seriously. You got one of the best fucking riflers on your bench, on your standby. Get him into the squad. Like, honestly, like, he was the main man leading that charge for Mad Lions and Trick to get them into that position. I'm just dumbfounded on how Bubsky's not in the lineup. Like, absolutely dumbfounded. Because he's amazing player. Like, he's, like, you know, like, basically with some of these riflers here, like, if he's got, like, you know, lower ratings, of course, but he's not been given anything. And also when he's been playing, he's been the better player. And, you know, gotta say here, Astralis couldn't re-sign these three. Astralis already got their, you know, coach and stuff like signed as well. But I'm just, you know, gonna say you right now, very disappointed Astralis not playing Bobsky. So now with Vitality, they got rid of their coach, Shocks and Kyujin. Kyujin was deeply underperforming. Shocks, so. And they got rid of their coach as well. So basically, he's gonna go to G2. He's don't know where he's gonna go. Bubsky will be asking shorter contracts in the future. Yeah, 100%. Like, talk about Bubsky, 100%. Don't accept this is the reason why you don't accept a long-term contract from a team unless you're the star player and you are being played in the starting lineup, okay? Otherwise, you're just in contract prison, okay? I think Foreign had a show about it called contract prison. This is the definition of contract prison of where Bubsky's at the moment. And it's disappointing. Like, I'm just disappointed in Astralis overall. And I think this could have led to the tear up in Astralis as well, where Sonic's like, why do we have, like, one of the best players in Denmark, the best prospects, and we're not playing him? Like, what are we doing? You know? What are we doing with him? It just doesn't make any sort of sense. Guys, I might go get a drink shortly. But, yeah. So, pretty much, we'll talk about Vitality. We'll talk about this one and get a drink. The French will be going to international, placing Shocks, Kyujin, XUC with this strange Astralis duo. Duo, I guess they need 2 players. Trio, you get Zonic, Dupree, Magisk. Well, I'll go to right now. Anything's an upgrade over Kyujin. You know, Kyujin just didn't... Kyujin at the start was pretty good for Vitality. But after that, like, if they managed to keep Nevera would have been the better option, okay? Like, they should have tried to keep Nevera and maybe bench Kyujin. But Kyujin really, really never got into tier 1 scene. There's just always that step behind. Probably was deserved to be replaced. Like, you know, you can't perform badly in the tier 1 scene over and over again consistently, still have a spot. You're just basically walking on a knife's edge and, you know, he's got to go. That doesn't mean Kyujin's going to be bad forever, of course. You know, you can't be like, he's shit, he's never going to be good ever again. You know, I reckon, like, the big thing for him is just tier 2 scene. Just work your way to tier 2 scene, get that confidence back, and see if you can push it in tier 1. Because there were some games where he did very, very well. And there's, you know, but the problem is, like, his trajectory was just him just being basically below average for the fight you need to have in the top tier scene. And, you know, has to go. You know, someone has to go. And I also got to say, you would have been the first one being cut anyway. So, yeah. And now, as you can see here, basically Kyujin joined to replace RBK. I'm going to say that's the biggest downgrade, given how clutch RBK was compared to Kyujin. But I got to say now, it's probably baptism by fire for him. And you can't really, like, I'm going to tell you right now, you can't really blame, like, Kyujin had a really tough task to match, like, RBK and how clutch he was. But obviously in there, like, you know, it doesn't get in the end. So they bring up Dupree, Magisk, Zonic, Masuda, Zywoo, Apex. And that's going to be a pretty decent team overall. They've got to start AWP this time that Dupree and Magisk can work around. Apex, very good IGL. And they've got Masuda, he's looking pretty good as well. Like, Masuda is looking really, really good. You know, unfortunately for them. So they're looking pretty good. Like, overall, I'm going to say this team, Vitality team, you got to give them a few months, as I said before. Like, definitely got to give them a few months. Obviously, they could have gone for, like I say right now, they could have tried to pick up Config and Blame F from Complexity. But I think Astralis already had their claws in before they even got a chance. But anyways, guys, I'm going to get a quick drink for the moment. And I'll be right back shortly. I can make sure if I've got any more Pepsi left, actually. Yeah, I'll just go for a quick drink. And yeah, we'll discuss the rest of the roster moves as well. Like, you know, I've obviously already gone off on one team, which is Astralis with Bubsky. But I'll be right back, guys, okay? Getting back. You guys, you know, had a bit of fun. Definitely have to edit this out when I put the video up. So let's talk about the next one. And let's talk about 00 Nation. Now I'm gonna say 00 Nation. I'm gonna say they're kind of gonna kind of going to expose their ignorance of the Brazilian scene here. I'm gonna say right now, because trying to get rebuilding a roster with teams that are already, well, other than Cold Zero, of course, Mabs and Try, who are already contracted, is going to be very difficult work, and you're going to have to throw large sums of money at it, because in the Brazilian scene, I should take off my headset actually. In the Brazilian scene, you're going to be paying a high payout compared to the EU scene. And that's going to be a very, very, very big issue for 00 Nation, is that they're going to have to probably plunk out a lot of money to get some of these players. Now, Cold Zero, they can pick up pretty easily, because I don't think he is in a contract. And they're in talks with Malbs and Try, which will be a very, very good revival of their roster. Don't get me wrong, okay? I mean, you can probably, I gotta say right now, you can probably throw out KNG, Fur, and Leo, and have a decent roster, okay? With Cold Zero, Try, Malbs, and stuff like that as well. Cold Zero, though, is he in the form that he was in when he was like the MVP, the arguably the best player? That is the main thing you gotta look at, okay? So, like, I can say right now, you can probably keep VSM and TRK, or even get rid of TRK and keep KNG, okay? Like, basically, there's a lot of ways to go around it, but Leo and Fur are definitely gonna be the first ones on the chopping block. Then it's gonna be a coin flip between KNG and TRK, honestly, because VSM's gonna be in the team regardless, okay? Like, VSM, 100% gonna be in that team. And even if they don't get Cold Zero, you know, KNG is still a very good player. Like, despite the attitude issues, and despite the FNS meme king, you know, kind of thing, you know, where FNS was the undoing of the great Brazilian team meme. But, you know, that's going to be a fairly decent team. Now, if they want to make Cold Zero the key of the project, Cold Zero is definitely a good player. And they were basically going after a lot of different rifles in a lot of different areas and stuff like that. Now, I'm going to say, you got Try, who's part of 9Z. This is where I'm saying that, you know, that being new to the region or being foreign to the region of South America is going to hurt them, because they're going to have to throw a lot of money at this one, and they're going to have to throw a lot of money at this one, okay? And I don't think they're going to be able to meet either of the buyouts of either of these two players, which really sucks when you've got an all Brazilian roster. And this is what happens when you don't have experience in that scene, is that you are going to get caught out like this. And I like 00 Nation. I'm good friends with a social media manager and stuff like that. They could get caught out by this, okay? Where, like, basically, like, Team 1 denied there's no negotiation, as the 9s, they're like, nope. You gotta realize as well, in the Brazilian scene, the buyouts are ridiculously high, and they do not let players release, okay? And also, there's the rumor of the last dance happening as well, where they're gonna get all the top tier Brazilian players and go out with a bang, which I'm gonna say is gonna end up an epic failure, because as a lot of them think how good they are, at the moment, they are not that good, okay? Like, they are pretty, you know, face first into the ground. They're not going to get far. Now, all the Brazilians will be like, no, these guys got major, blah, blah, blah. They're not that team anymore. They're shadows of their former selves, honestly. So they're not going to get very far at all. Now, you know, they started Oplano Core initially, but they haven't gone very far since Oplano, okay? Like, ever since they joined 00 Nation, they haven't got anything. And we already know Fur's on a chopping block. Like, dude, the first person I'll take out, there's Fur. Fur's on chopping block. And as I said, could be Leo. Could be Leo next. Because, like, I would keep, like, VSM definitely keep. But, yeah, it's just going to be coin flip between KNG and TRK. Like, literally coin flip. It's a tough one to see which one goes, because they're both performing pretty well. But, you know, Fur and Leo are already out the door, I feel. Like, you know, looking at the stats and stuff like that. Already out the door. It's just going to be who's going to be the next one that goes. And that's going to be pretty much it, you know, with that one. Isn't KNG gone as a 12 from his mum? Don't tell me his mum fucking said something, dude. What's with all the Brazilian family members? Oh my god. Why do they always, like, tweet out announcements? It's always the family. But, you know, if it's KNG's gone, that means Leo, like, it's going to be KNG and Leo gone. But I gotta say, like, you know, if they don't get, you know, either of the two targets, you know, you gotta realize, I think she was throwing shade at Cold. Didn't this happen last time at, like, MRBR? I swear, this is a deja vu event, okay? This is ABC Legacy just telling me these stories. Like, about KNG's mum throwing Chetty Cold Zero. Is this like deja vu? Because I feel like the same thing happened again when Cold Zero left to FaZe. That someone's parent got angry at Cold Zero. Jeez, man. Cold Zero must be a very hated name in most Brazilian households at the moment, okay? But yeah, overall, like, KNGV could be leaving. I think Leo's could be the other one out the door as well. And I'm going to say with 0 Nation, I don't think they're going to get both their targets. That's going to be a really rough run to get both their targets with Malbs and Try. Like, that's going to be very, very rough to get both their targets. Because, like, you're going to be paying high payouts. 0 Nation, i.e. Nordavind, or ex-Nordavind, aren't exactly that rich of a Norwegian org. Like, I'm not even sure how much money they've got to really throw at these Brazilian players, to be honest. And this is what happens when you go for a big risk, because Nordavind's a esports club that goes for the big risks, like go for the big plays, like building European teams and stuff like that, and goes, went for the Brazilian team, probably one of the only EU orgs that have gone crazily out there for a Brazilian team other than SK. And yeah, basically I feel here like I'm not terribly too sure how it's going to end up for 0 Nation. I'm going to say right now that it's going to end badly. I don't think it's going to end well. Like, I'm hoping it will end well, but I don't think it will. Let's see what it is on Reddit. Comments. KNG's mother-in-law in 0 Nation fan group. Chat cold can't. Okay. So KNG could be the one on the chopping block. If Malbs and Try get signed, like, you got to realize that if they can't sign Malbs and Try, they've actually got to keep Leo. Like, that's what I'm thinking here. Because they've already got Cold Zero. They've got Cold Zero tick. But to get Malbs and Try is going to be a bit harder. Because, as I said, you're trying to wrestle them from Brazilian teams. And they have high buyouts. That's going to be rough as hell. Next up, we got Cold Zero from 0 Nation. They get the first target. And, basically they've reports linking them with Try and Malbs so far. But hasn't been done. Yeah, he represented Complexity. Was on FaZe's bench. He was replaced by the European team by Olafmeister. Oh, dude, that's going to be pretty rough being replaced by Olafmeister. Cold, does rumors going to link up with FNX and Fallen? As I said here, this is a bad idea, okay? Last Dance, bad idea. But good thing Cold Zero has actually has a brain and realized that this Last Dance lineup is not a good idea, okay? As I said before, they think they're better than what they actually are with this Last Dance lineup, and it's just kind of going to be a I guess, some kind of like money-making generation. It's going to be more of a make money from merch rather than actually being good at the game. Now, a lot of players are going to be like, no, that's bullshit to me, okay? But, like, the performance, the stuff doesn't lie, bro. Like, the stuff doesn't lie. Like, Fallen for FNX, like, they haven't been playing that particularly well where they're going to be in that tier 1 scene. They're going to be in tier 2 scene, definitely. I mean, before Fallen joined Liquid, I mean, MIBR were fucking plummeting. They were losing to teams like Whiz Like a Cow. So, and, there was players like Fur in that roster as well. Like, it wasn't exactly, like, a terrible... Well, it wasn't exactly a different roster. But, Cold Zero probably have a better future with 0 Nation. You got younger players, potential stars as well. You got BSM in that roster as well. You're going to get Malbs. You're going to get Try, potentially. That's what you're looking forward to. And, they've also got the rumor here they're cutting ties to KNGV and TRK as well to make space. I'm actually a bit surprised with TRK being moved on and keeping Leo, so I'd probably keep TRK. And, yeah, so pretty much, like, they're going to go for the changes. They get Cold Zero in. And I got to say, that's a big pickup from 0 Nation, okay? That's a big pickup from 0 Nation, i.e. Nordavind. Very big pickup. To pick up Cold Zero. Like, it's, Cold Zero wants to play. Cold Zero hasn't got the, by the way, that's me here. Tick. Cold Zero hasn't got the, I don't know, he doesn't got the value or the bargaining chip where he can go to those tier 1 and tier 2 teams because he's not in form at the moment. And that leaves him here, unfortunately. And he has to go with the lesser extent to 0 Nation. And I think it's a good fit for him because, let's say this team in 1 year or so, they get the experience they need. They get the, the fight and stuff like that. They get the confidence, they get the experience. They could go a lot higher under Cold Zero. I think Cold Zero recognizes that. And I think, that's the case. And I think that's a good thing. That's my opinion there. I think going with this Last Dance roster that they wanted to go with was a bad idea. And I think he recognized that, okay? And I would, as I said, I would, wouldn't be wanting to go to the Last Dance roster, okay? I think it's more of a meme kind of, basically tales of old, looking at the past with rose-tinted glasses kind of thing and trying to relive the major they got. And also, not to mention, the last dance, as per se, was when they were at their peak, the Chicago Bulls, okay? That's not what it's referred to. Now let's just go dig down for a bit. Let's get out of the tier 1 scene. Let's talk about Skade for a bit. Skade, I'm going to say Skade. Sorry, everyone calls it Skade. Skade is how you pronounce it in Norwegian, because it's a Norwegian org. But they prefer Skade. Well, not they prefer Skade. This English cast is called Skade. They started up Bubble and Dream. I kind of expected, to be honest. Okay? Kind of expected. They released Kaluba, they released Duplicate, and Dreamer and the other guys as well. They've been performing well in another Hungarian team. Just combined them already, which is, I think it's the Fiend, I believe. Yeah, Fiend basically split up. And you're obviously going to pick up Bubble and Dreamer. Definitely the good players in that team. Since I think it was, I'm trying to think if it's Red Star and Han. Also could be picked up by another org as well. And I think Han and Red Star are linked to another org. Skade didn't really need Red Star and Han. They have a good AWPer themselves. They didn't really need that. They've got Denislaw. They've got Denislaw and Ships. So they really don't need that AWPer. And they've got Rainwalker, Dreamer, and Bubble as their riflers. Denislaw can play rifle. Ships can play rifle. They've got rifles up the yin-yang at this point. Probably the only thing they could probably get is the AWPer, and Han would have been helpful there. But I think they're going to back even Denislaw or Ships on the AWP. And they haven't had much AWPing issues whatsoever. So I think this is a good idea to get Bubble and Dreamer. And, Punisher is obviously Bulgarian as well. And, they all know each other. And pretty much this is a very good lineup. And I knew Duplicate was going to be the one that goes, even though Duplicate does get some really, really good clutches for Skade. But I just couldn't imagine him. I couldn't imagine him staying at the roster, unfortunately. He wasn't performing that well. And you got X-Fiend breaking up because they didn't get into ESL Challenger. And you got so many players you can pick from. Look at all the players you can pick from. It's like an open buffet for Skade. And easy picks. Next up, let's talk about the next part, which is going to be all of Mouse. Okay, this is all going to be about Mouse. The next 6 articles are Mouse, 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 and Mouse. And Mouse have been going big. This is, how there's a comic if you guys don't know about a comic in Marvel called Fury's Big Week, where they talk about, Nick Fury or S.H.I.E.L.D.'s perspective of, the 3 people they talk to, the Hulk, Iron Man, and Thor. That's, called Fury's Big Week, where he finds all of them, and Captain America as well. He finds, he gets all the Avengers in 1 week kind of thing. Where if you guys don't know, in Iron Man and Iron Man 2, then they go to Thor by Coulson. He goes, has to go to New Mexico. And then also the Hulk comes into New York during that time as well. And they're trying to make the Avengers Initiative. This is kind of here for Mouse, okay? What Mouse are trying to do here. So basically, Mifar, Mouse's coach, is gone, joins the Rebels, and he replaces Zevez. Now, this is interesting because this came out of the blue, okay? Because Mifar joined his previous IGL, which was Dexter from Renegades. And this was very, very interesting, okay? And he basically said, since Rops left, he said since Mouse is going for a do-over, they probably need a coach. So Apex are going to say, the Rebels, they're going to be pretty much surprised. I'm going to say right now, I wouldn't be Apex would have been really, really surprised with this change with Mifar going out of Mouse and joining definitely a lesser team. Lesser team on paper, 100%. And you'd be sitting there going ooh, what's happening here kind of thing, okay? And yeah, basically, what's been suggested as well is that MBK could be coming back as well in the mix. And it's kind of crazy because I can tell you right now, I know Acor's gone. I can't imagine them replacing Frozen or Dexter. If they could pick up MBK, they could be replacing Dexter. But it's going to be rough, which ones they're going to replace. They've already replaced Acor with Torzi, which we're going to get later. Next up is the obvious one, Chris J being released by Mouse. I'm going to tell you right now, not surprised. And I'm also not surprised that Chris J hasn't found a new team yet. Chris J just hasn't been playing well. That's pretty much it. And there hasn't been much reason to pick up Chris J from any other, people interested in him, to be honest. didn't see any players with teams interested in him. I mean, if he wants to go back to another team, he's just gonna have to go to a downgrade. To be honest, like he's gonna have to look at a tier 2 team or tier 3 team. I think his tier 1 team days are done. You know, he's got a lot of famous clutches and kills in the tier 1 scene. But other than that, that's been all he has been, pretty much, for like certain teams. He's just been that player that'll get that unique clutch or win around out of nowhere. Like with the Scout, especially in the Deagle. And he'd also tried for FunPlus Phoenix before they died, and he didn't sign on a team as well. And yeah, pretty much Mouse looking to get MBK, and at the moment, they got the roster here as well. Torzy, Bemis, Frozen, Dexter. I'm not sure if MBK will be the right option here, because they don't really need another RGL type when Dexter's there. So, a bit confused there, on that one. If they're going to grab him. Next up, as you guys may know, Rops left Mouse, and is apparently joining FaZe. He could either join FaZe or, I believe, G2, picking FaZe to reunite with Karrigan. And yeah, he's been announced in FaZe already. And obviously Olaf Myers again a click kick, because I gotta tell you right now, Rain, Twist, and Brokey, well, they're a lot better, okay? And yeah, that's pretty much it. Rops is an amazing rifler. Obviously, probably the heart of Mouse Sports and probably the main rifler, the main player that they built behind. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Definitely going to Rops. Definitely going to FaZe. Definitely going to tier 1 team. He needs it and deserves it. And as you guys can see here, FaZe pick him up. Olaf gone. And yeah, pretty much it. Rops finally in the tier 1 scene. This team, I'm going to say right here, is going to be a team to watch out for. I mean, you got Rain, who's very consistent. Brokey's made his way into the team. These guys are no longer a team of stars. They are going to be a star team, okay? FaZe has always been known as the meme as being the star team, okay? The team of stars, okay? They are going to be the star team now. They're going to be probably another team that's going to be up there with G2. So I reckon it's going to be FaZe, G2, and Na'Vi all battling it out. And you've got, a very good Canadian rifle in Twist who was dropped by Liquid. You got Broke, who's a very good AWPer. Rain's just always being consistent. Like, he's been that consistent linchpin player for that team. Now you got Rops, another good rifle as well. And you got Karrigan as the IGL. Now, Karrigan's stats do suffer a bit as IGL, but I think the other players can just mitigate it for him. And those will be the players to watch out for effectively as well. These pickups from FaZe, definitely tops. And it shows that FaZe are not going for star players. They're also checking out the team mechanics as well. Now, another one as well. Basically, since Torzy, which I believe, we should get that article first. Torzy. He's going to go... So, since Akor's gone, they've promoted Torzy to the main team. Very good pickup. Okay, very good pickup. And secondly, very good promotion as well. Torzy is an amazing AWPer. He's been carrying Budapest 5 for a very, very long time. I can tell you right now, the moment he probably got offered this role, he was probably snatching at a role in a tier 2, even tier 1 scene. And he gets that role right away. And I'm going to say right now, Akor has been pretty bog average, to be honest. Like, very, very bog average. Definitely was just on the chopping block. They were definitely, with the few AWPers on the market, I don't think they're going to get Monesy out of fucking G2's hand, to be honest. That was gone. Not happening. And what else have you got? Now, Torzy, that came out of nowhere for Mouse, to be honest, but, they picked him out of Mouse Next. They've got him on the board as well. He's been performing pretty well in Mouse Next. Definitely young AWPer, played very, very well. Is eligible for the major now, since the major change rules as well. And getting some tier 1 experience, which he definitely deserves. He's been playing incredible. There's been a lot of rounds where he's held bomb sites and stuff with the AWP, which is very hard to do, may I add, where he's held bomb sites at the T side post plant. And yeah. Definitely a good player to watch out for. And also, not to mention as well, 1.24 rating, okay? And I've got to say now, this is a very, very good pickup from Mouse. And I reckon he's going to absolutely flourish under Dexter, especially if he's aggressive. He's going to absolutely flourish. And also, not to mention as well, there's a bit of a meme, if you guys didn't know, that Torzy, it was leaked that Torzy was being promoted to the main team before Torzy knew. So that's for a bit of humor, if you guys didn't know that. That Torzy didn't know about his promotion until another site reported it. It wasn't Mouse that reported it. Next up is Mouse Next, acquire MHL. Given that AGO had been having so much troubles with MHL, I am not surprised that AGO let him go, because it's just mate, are you going to stay in or not, okay? And Mouse, Striker obviously with articles, well, I'm actually surprised that Mouse picked him up, given that MHL has been taking his studies a bit longer, but I guess could be the end of his studies as well. But like MHL had been taking breaks off in AGO, which this is where you get a bit, hey, is he going to commit? He's in Mouse Academy at the moment. MHL's definitely a very good AWPer, like 100% a good AWPer. There's nothing about his quality, like nothing about the quality. It's whether he's going to go, like, is he studying first and getting that degree, or is he like full into esports? I recommend probably just finish the degree, obviously, because you can have something to fall back on if esports doesn't happen. And that's a high probability at his stage where he's on the precipice. Where is he going to be in the tier 1 scene, or is he be staying on tier 2 scene? Like, he's on that precipice because MHL's got the star power. He is very good with the AWP. I mean, in one of the series, he was I'm trying to think who he was on. I think he was on AGO at one stage, where he was essentially the difference maker, and grabbed a few rounds before their team eventually lost in the end. Where MHL got like 3 or 4. I think he had 4 rounds of like 3 kills each round to grab 4 rounds for his team. But yeah, so pretty much, you got Zershin, JDC. Zershin has been very, very good for Mouse next. Sui Shen, the Polish, and also officially makes Mouse next a Polish team. And yeah, I gotta say right now, MHL, very, very good signing for Mouse, to be honest. Definitely a star AWPer there. Definitely an AWPer to watch out for as well, a young Polish AWPer. Next up, we got Cyclone as a Mouse head coach. This one came out of nowhere, I'm gonna say right now. Because Cyclone, last time we saw him, he was on Team Secret. Okay? On Team Secret before joining Mouse as a coach. Now, he's 25, and this is very interesting given the fact that Cyclone, obviously you can still play CSGO. So it's coming out of a bit of surprise that he's turned to coaching instead. And a bit early too, but hey, if Mouse give you opportunity, you take it. And he was already the coach, I believe, from Mouse Next head coach, okay? And they've been performing quite well, Mouse Next, to be honest. So him getting promoted to head coach role to manage Torsey and, basically a new roster as well with Chris and Dexter and stuff like that. Well, not Chris, sorry, Dexter and stuff like that is pretty decent. He'll be obviously without Rops, definitely Star Rifle as well, which is going to hurt, but he's going to have, Bemis and Frozen still there as well. And obviously as well, they've obviously benched Acor. Now, I'm not really too sure who their 5th player is going to be, Mouse. There's no speculation on who it's going to be at the moment. Obviously, Chris J definitely won't be it. They know they're picking up MBK. And I was going to say right here for Mouse with MBK rumor, I don't think that's a good pickup for them, to be honest. I don't think they need MBK. Like, I don't think MBK is the move for them. They need... Like, this is always my curse, okay? This is always my curse. When I tell that they don't need a player, they pick up said player and the player plays out of their mind, okay? Because I said this about Hobbit. I told Gambit, they don't need Hobbit. They don't need Hobbit. And Hobbit, like, turns a form of career, and now Gambit's number 2. And then I said that for APOC, that X-Star Wolves didn't need APOC, and, look where X-Star Wolves are now. But I gotta say, I just don't think they need MBK. Like, I honestly don't think they need MBK. I feel like they could get a rifle from any other team, especially, like, there's players on market as well Mouse could pick up and have a negotiating bargain as well, like you have a negotiating chip that they realistically could pick up. I mean, you got Lollipop out there from the Mega, who's an amazing aimer, probably one of the stalwarts of the team. You got Bented, you got a lot of players, a lot of good riflers on the market. I think you even got JKS as well. And you can reasonably get them to your team. I don't think MBK is a good idea, given the fact you've already got an IGL. You've got an IGL on Dexter. Why do you need MBK? Like, MBK's, one of his roles is IGL. I don't think you need it. And I think, I say overall, you got Bentet, you got the Polish superstar, Wink Bentet, even though Singaporean, obviously. And you got a lot of riflers that you can realistically pick up and already in Europe. So I'm just... Like I say right now, I just don't understand the MBK angle, and hopefully they don't grab an MBK. Because I'm just going to say, like, you're going to be dropping him probably after 6 to 9 months, I'm going to say, due to him not being able to perform. And if you're replacing Dexter, just don't know what you're doing at this point. If you're replacing Dexter at this point, just have no idea what you're doing. That's my opinion of Mouse at the moment. Like, I don't think MBK is the right target. You're wanting a rifler, you're wanting someone like, you lose Rops and you replace him with MBK. Like, they're not even the same level. You know, you need, like, you know, of course MBK is very decorated, but you know, you're replacing your Rops, who's arguably much better than MBK. Not a good look. And you know, Torsey, tick. You know, Torsey definitely good replacement. A-Call is just absolute. He's just been in a slump. He's just not been playing well at all, and probably needs to get his confidence back. And yeah, you know, that's pretty much it for that one. Like I say, Tick, you know, getting MHL, Tick getting Torsey, X trying to get MBK, and Cyclone so. Like, he's done a good job of Mouse next. Definitely done a really good job. I'm gonna say right now, this is gonna be a crazy idea. Put Exertion into the main lineup. You know, Exertion's been playing pretty well. He's been learning quite a lot as well. Put him in the main lineup. Don't put MBK. Don't get MBK. You can put Exertion in the lineup if you want. If you really want to. Okay. Like, just put him in the lineup. See how it goes. Because, like, you know, MBK, I just don't think you can get much out of, unfortunately. That's no slight to MBK. You know, it's no slight at all. Like, I just don't think you're going to get much out of him compared to getting another rifler. And I just don't like the fact that, you know, MBK can slot into a lot of different teams that are looking for, like, IGLs and stuff like that. This ain't the team that's looking for an IGL. Like, you know, if there was if let's just say, for example, Dexter was being moved on, yeah, I would be like, yeah, you're bringing MBK. Great IGL. Good player. Definitely would help your roster out 100%. Now, Sprout, this is pretty much going to say very game breaking for Sprout losing K. K is one of the biggest Polish talents at the moment, okay? I'm going to say this really sucks for Sprout because Sprout finally get into ESL Pro League, okay? And they lose all the players that got them to ESL Pro League. This is one of them. How much bad luck is Sprout gonna fucking have? They finally don't choke in, you know, ESA Premier and win. They finally don't choke. They enter ESL Pro League, but they lose their goddamn team. Okay. So I think at the moment I've got Riles, Speedy, and Slacks, okay? That's who they've got at the moment. Just... And also they've lost Faven as well. It's just like... I know they've lost Dennis. I don't think Dennis is coming back. I'm just going to say here, like... Just so unfortunate for Sprout. Like, what can you say? Like, it sucks for Sprout. Like, it's not even... I gotta say right now, not even Sprout's fault. I mean, Sprout wanted to keep him. But Kay didn't agree with it. He wanted to go back to the Polish scene. And I can imagine now Sprout, like, you know, you can probably see this tweet. It's just like, they're probably just defeated there. They're probably just like, yeah. Like, yeah, go back. It's fine. And they just know. They just know that it's just... It's heart-wrenching, okay? Absolutely heart-wrenching. Feel bad for them. And, you know, I do have a soft spot for Sprout. You know, Sprout have been very, like, the top-tier teams of ESC Premier. They shouldn't be there. Okay, they shouldn't be in ESC Premier. They're way too good for it. And, you know, they finally get in. You know, they had Diha and Snatchy previously, and they couldn't get in. But they finally get in, and then, you know, basically the team, they're looking for 2 new players. And they're probably got ESL Pro League in the next, like, 2 months. And they're going to build a team and get a boot camp and stuff like that in those 2 months. They're going to be crazy, okay? And I don't think Sprout's going to perform well because of it. Grim, Stewie, Fallen, removed from Liquid starting lineup. Expected, because Grim didn't... Unfortunately for Grim, like, Grim played very well in Triumph. I missed a DR Snatcher on Sprout, kicked them for all Jan lineup. To be fair, Diha was out the door to Ents, okay? They knew Diha was going, okay? Like, Diha was not going to stand that team, okay? Diha's way too good for that team as well. This is the worst part. Like, Sprout's way too good for ESA Premier, but Diha's too good for that team. And that's why I went to Ents. Like, you know, no brainer. Just pick up Diha. Snatchy, I'm very surprised he wasn't picked up by any other team in the tier 1 scene. And honestly, you know, they kicked Snatchy out. Snatchy went around to all the different Polish teams, just doing the Polish shuffle at the moment. But, like, you know, they were picking up Slacks from alternate attacks. I mean, Slacks is a very good AWPer himself. Like, Slacks is a very, very good AWPer. I'd pick him up as well. You know, he's definitely a like-for-like replacement for Snatchy. But yeah, basically I'd say they're two good pickups. Like, you can't really fault Sprout for doing that because Dha, they're not going to keep Dha. Like, is Dha going to play ESA Premier? No, he wants to play ESL Pro League. He wants to be with Ents. Ents have got the bargaining chip there. Bam, he's going to go straight in. It sucks, and I think you're basically saying like you wanted that still. It sucks, but like not really much Sprout could do there. If Sprout didn't choke in ESA Premier, got to ESL Pro League, it would have been a much different story. They probably would have stayed. Now Grim, he didn't perform really to expectations at Liquid, to be plainly honest. Okay, like they're expecting him to perform a lot higher. Stewie, Fallen, all expected, to be honest. It's just Liquid, which is doing like this. They were just basically just coasting along. There was no spectacular results out of Liquid that they were hoping. And yeah, it's just there was nothing else coming out of Liquid, pretty much. Like there's just nothing happening. When you get to that point where it's just like this is as far as the roster's gonna get, and that was that point with Liquid, to be honest. Like you just see it right in the rules. They just didn't get results. Liquid, I think they're keeping Naf and a Liege, and they're bringing in 3 different players. Liquid played pretty plop, to be honest, like this year, and everyone knows it. Now, at the moment, apparently they're getting Nitro back from Valorant. They're getting OCE, probably a good pickup there. OCE is a very high quality AWPer. Definitely an upgrade on Fallen. Okay, definitely an upgrade by Fallen by far. Fallen's got more of the IGL kind of thingo, and this is where they don't need an IGL at this point. It's like, yeah, they don't need an IGL. They just need an AWPer. And OCE is naturally the best AWPer in the scene, in the NA scene at the moment. Pick him up immediately. Picking up Nitro and Shox. Shox is a bit of a, what? Kind of thing. Because you can just put the IGL onto Nitro and that's it. But Shox is the weird one for me. I don't agree with them picking up Shox. Just, I don't know. Like, I don't know where Liquid's going with picking up Shox. Okay. That's my opinion, though. Like, Nitro, I guess you can understand because I've built a team around it before. But just don't understand Shox. I mean, there's so many good rifles in the NA scene that you can realistically pick up. And you pick up a player in EU, and also not the best player in the EU either. Shox has got some, Shox has been amazing previously. And they could be making Shox IGL and Nitro being a rifler. But I'm not going to be too sure of that lineup. But I think Shox is a bit of an out there decision for me. And I like to see how it pays off for Liquid. But the good thing is with Liquid that they have no expectations. They're not building a star roster where everyone's be like, if they're not first place, they are trash. It's kind of like, it'll be middle tier roster and people are expecting middle tier. So if they do perform above average, people will be like, oh my god, Liquid are putting together a really, really good team. That sort of thing. And, that could be the moment. That could be the moment that I've been looking for. And I gotta say right now, no one's gonna be expecting anything out of Liquid. Because I don't expect anything out of Liquid. I think basically at the moment, this is not a team that's gonna be winning, NA leagues. I'm probably gonna be winning NA leagues and stuff like that. But it's definitely not going to be winning any of like the tier 1 events. It will probably be one of the ranked outsiders, and that's about the best they're going to get. Most people probably agree with me on that one. I think it's Richard and Foreign have talked about it. They've agreed with me on that one as well. But I got to say, these guys could be the sleepers, I'm going to say. This is the sleeper agent because no one's expecting any of this team to win. So they're not under the pressure that they have to produce #1 spot and anything like that. They can go in being like, obviously don't use the Armor Pet's famous or Chet's famous or anything else as bonus points for NRG, okay, after going 3-0 and then 0-3 in the next round. But that's what it is basically. Like, if they finish like above 8th or 6th or anything like that, that's practically a bonus for them. That means they're performing above expectations, what people expect to perform at. Now we go here with that Liquid confirmed shining socks. Shox. I don't know, honestly. I don't think this is the right move, as I said before. Okay. Don't think it's the right move. I don't think he was really the player driving Vitality forward either. You got a mixture of players in there, and I don't think Shox was the player driving it forward. And I know Shox is obviously going to be a household name and easily, Liquid signing him up, but I just don't think he's going to be the player that they want. Yeah, I'm happy to be proven wrong, but I just don't think that's the player there. It's not the move. You got a lot of NA riflers that you can realistically pick up that have been performing very, very well. You could have even kept Grim, by the way, and try to get his confidence back up. But yeah, just don't see it. I think it's a bit of a miss from Liquid. OC signing, this is a 100% hit. When he was with 80k, Cloud9, and all those respective teams, he was the top player. Easily top player. He was with Extra Salt. Obviously, he's leaving Extra Salt. I believe they're picking up another AWPer as well. He's just been playing so well. Like, he's been playing absolutely well. He had a 1.29% rating over 2001. And obviously didn't go too much to the international area, but definitely a player that can develop into something further as well. And yeah, Nitro and Shock's coming back up. And that's what it's going to look like. And essentially, they also thanked Extra Salt for a smooth transition. So I'm going to say I think Extra Salt released OCE from his contract to play with Liquid. And it's good to see in the NA scene that they're being very, very friendly with each other, given the fact that the NA CSGO scene is struggling big time. And it's good to see Extra Salt actually keep meaning to their word, where they're going to say, hey, we're going to take a chance at NA, and we're going to build that NA CSGO scene from the ground. And they're doing a very good job at it by not being absolute pricks and not being, not trying to be the entire NA scene. They realize it's kind of like a building block kind of scenario. But overall, good change. So overall with Team Liquid, Shock's not sure. Shock's probably a bit of an X, I'm going to say. Like, not a really good signing. Nitro's just a so-so, and OC is a bit of a tick. Overall, Liquid, I feel like they're going to be in the same place where they are before. If they perform any better than the place they've been in before, I'll be shocked. Funny his name is Shocks, obviously. But I'm just going to be shocked. Because they be performing above their average. And, like I say, if you're going to put a sleeper team, like a team that you think is going to come out the blue as a dark horse, Liquid is going to be the team, I reckon. Liquid's going to be the team. You don't expect much from them, but they're going to get random, like, second place or first place at a tournament. You're just going to be like, how the hell did this team get first place? And you're just going to be confused. And you'd be like, you won't realize it because they just don't have any pressure behind them. When teams don't have pressure, like that huge pressure behind them, that they can sometimes play better, more riskier, more looser. And, instead of being in their head, they can, I'm not sure, that kind of thing. Like, it's not like they're, what do you call it? Like, they have no expectations. They're the underdog. They know that they're the underdog kind of thing. And they know the pressure's on the other team, basically. Next up's going to be Ents. Ents Watch 2. This is very recent. This is today from Striker. Literally like 10, I think it's about an hour ago. Ents replacing Dutu. Gonna say right now, kind of expected. Like, they can probably pick up anyone. They got Sping, Stihar, Hades. I'm gonna tell you right now, if Ents are gonna replace anyone, it's gonna be Dotu. They're not gonna take out the IGL Snappy, and that's it. Dotu's gonna go. I'm not sure who are they gonna pick up. I hope to God they do not let fucking Arlu back in this roster. Okay? Do not let Arlu back into this roster. Okay? So I'm going to say, do not let Arlu back in this roster. Keep the gate firm and keep Arlu out. I think it's going to be right now. I think it's kind of clear that Arlu was the fucking problem with Ents, okay? I mean, his ex-teammates had to tell you guys that he was the problem. Arlu's got to work on himself. 100%, that's it. He's got to work on himself because obviously he was the problem, like, mentally with the team. Ents can literally pick up anyone. They got ESL Pro League spot due to partnership. They can really pick up any rifler and that's it. Like, they don't need the AWP. They got Hades in there performing a magnificent role. They got really good rifles in Spinks and Dihar. They can literally pick up anyone. Shame they couldn't get their hands on Rops. Tudson. That's gonna be rough because Ents gonna be competing in tier 1. Tudson's in that tier 2 scene. Gonna be rough. But they could pick up him because he's Polish. Or is he? No, is he the Swiss one? No, Rigon's Swiss. Sorry, all those players that are playing for Team Secret, or that mix with with Flatroo, Synopsy and stuff like that, always getting mixed up. They could bring in Tudson, but I guess I don't think they will. I think there's a lot of riflers that are already on the board in the free agency. They can just pick one off the list pretty much, and one of them's not gonna be Tudson. Tudson's probably gonna be a big surprise. If he even is picked up, they could even pick up one of the Team Secret guys, Flatroo, Synopsy and stuff like that as well if they wanted to. But I can realistically say, it's not going to be Tudson, unfortunately. Nothing has been really said. Nothing has been really, really said. on how Ents are going to go and who's going to be coming to Ents. So at this point, it could be realistically anyone. But they've got a lot of great aimers and D-Hard Spinks. And Hades has been performing particularly well as well. Now let's get to the end of it as well. Harry returns. And Grusan returns. I'm going to say right now, given how Marcelius and Grusan have basically reunited again, I'm just going to say at this point, why did they kill 777 Esports, just Apex at this point? Again, because basically the same Apex players have reunited in a similar lineup other than Harry. So Akez, Grusan, like, I can tell you right now, no, Harry was in Apex, okay? They've literally got the same lineup. Okay? Like, 777 should just rename their team just Apex. Add Mickey and Ruto, who I know as well, okay? They should just rename the lineup Apex, because that's what literally this team is. But overall, I'm going to say good changes from them, to be honest. Like, picking up Harry, Grusan, very good changes. And, you know, looking pretty good. Last but not least is Wizard Kakao. The Polish shuffle occurring over and over again. Sobel was in Pact. Snatchy was in another team, I believe, Anonymo. Overall, I'm going to say for Wizard, this is good pickups, okay? Very, very good pickups. They needed that Orpo and Snatchy. Sobel, good support player. And they released Marcos and PHR. PHR, I gotta say, I'm very sure he played for Virtus Pro previously and wasn't that great. And this is the worst part. They lose Minio. Like, this is the worst part of the Polish scene as well. Like, when they get players like Sobel and Snatchy, Whistler lose Minio. And it's like, seriously, like, I just feel like you're never going to get a Polish super team out of these Polish teams, okay? Yeah, Severo's going to definitely rifle. Severo can rifle. He can rifle. I've seen him rifle before. He does a pretty decent job. Snatchy's obviously going to main the AWP. But I gotta say, it's just one step forward, 2 step back. If they can keep Minio, this team's good. But it's the fact that they just can't keep Minio. And we'll see how it goes. This is basically a team that's a 50-50 kind of thing, okay? And, you know, I think Goofy doesn't come from... I think Goofy does come from Pact in the end. Yeah, he does as well. It's just... Just with Wizard at the moment, it's just going up and down, up and down. Why can't the Polish just make one super team, obviously? Like, if they made a super team of Dha and a few other players, like, I think they could have an all Polish super team. But at the moment, it's just all the teams are just split up in power and stuff like that. And that's where I'm going to end, guys, with the show for today. The end of Chilltime. But overall, I'd say Ents is so if they pick up. I think Ents is going to be a pretty alright move. Just depends who they pick up. Liquid is, you know, neutral. Mouse is good. Pretty good. G2, good. You know, they got what they needed. OG, good as well. But I think overall, most of them are good. Team Liquid are the ones I think maybe so-so. The underdog kind of route. But yeah. Overall, a lot of roster changes. And, you know, it took us an hour to go through them all. Okay, I don't usually take an hour to go through all these roster changes. We'll talk about Astralis and Vitality. Astralis, definitely a big L. I feel for Astralis there. Definitely a big L losing Zonic. The players, you know, neutral, but losing Zonic's going to be huge. Vitality, probably up. You know, getting Zonic, getting a lot of other Danish players as well. Definitely an up. And also Kyushin going as well. You know, definitely going to upgrade there. Furia, good. They got the man that they wanted. 0 Nation, going to be really rough for them. Very, very rough for them to get a good Brazilian squad out of that. I don't think it will happen. And overall, Mouse, very good moves. You know, basically, also well as with, you know, very good moves in Mouse. Now, talking about to Astralis, that was a very bad move from them. Okay, like they should have put Bubsky back in the main lineup, and that move is going to haunt them for a long, long time. That Bubsky is not in their main lineup. And now, yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Pretty much it for Chill Time for today. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And, you know, if you guys watched the entire hour length of a YouTube video, please comment, like, share, and subscribe about my opinions. And, you know, leave any comments below if you have a different opinion and stuff like that about, you know, how these teams are going to go. Like, do you think, you know, Liquid's going to be the underdog team that will slide under the radar? Do you think Mouse, Astralis, you know, Vitality, all their changes are good or bad? Do you feel, you know, do you agree with some of my changes? Do you disagree with some of my comments? Leave a comment below, guys. And for now, peace out, guys. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. See you guys later. Peace out.